typical example that we have outlined in the previous class, that suppose you are having a system where there is a continuous heat generation throughout the whole volume of the system or continuous heat dissipation. For example, it is a case of nuclear reactor where you are you would like to find out the temperature distribution. So, in those cases, special cases, you would like to solve the non-homogeneous partial differential equations under several boundary conditions. Now, we have looked into the solution of homogeneous partial differential equations in 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, multi-dimensional problems for various chemical engineering applications in transport processes, and all those problems, if the governing equations are linear, for example, your physicochemical properties are constant independent of temperature or concentration, you can have a separation of variable type of solution. And we have looked into categories of these type of solutions under several boundary conditions: homogeneous, non-homogeneous, Dirichlet, Neumann, mixed boundary conditions, so on and so forth. So, what is left is the most important one is, suppose you are having a non-homogeneous partial differential equation under a set of homogeneous or non-homogeneous boundary conditions. Okay. These types of problems can be solved using Green's function. Okay. Now, the sequence of the solution, now in today's class we will be looking into the into given an operator, given a governing equation, how you do find out the Green's function. Okay. Once Green's function is obtained, if you remember the sequence of solutions that we have talked about in the last class, given a problem, you have to find first the causal Green's function. Okay. And the physical physical conception of doing all these exercises is basically non-homogeneity in your governing equation. You would like to find out the response throughout the whole volume. So, you consider a unit non-homogeneity or unit impulse somewhere in the domain and see its effect in the overall solution response. Okay. That is a physical interpretation of uses of Green's function. That unit impulse is represented by Dirac delta function. Okay. So, given a problem like let us say L u is equal to f, where f is a typical a function of any space, let us say x, y, z as well as time, and L is an operator. It may be a Laplacian operator in case of a steady state like del square del x square plus del square del y square plus del square del z square. Okay. It may be a parabolic operator like del del t minus del square del x square or plus or minus. Okay. It does not matter, it depends on the problem or whatever the operator may be. Okay. For this problem, you first find out with a set of boundary conditions, let us say B u is equal to h. B u is equal to h means the boundary may be at x equal to 1, maybe at x equal to 0, and h means there will be in general it will be non-homogeneous. Okay. Now, the first step we are going to find out is you construct the causal Green's function, and it will be simply L g. In one dimension it will be x by x naught, or let us say in 3 dimension it will be there will be, it is represented by a Dirac delta function x minus x naught. That x naught at the location x naught you are giving a unit impulse. This is the formulation of Green's function in one dimension. One dimension means it is a ordinary differential equation. We will be giving you an example for the purpose of demonstration how to find out Green's function in one dimensional case, then you can extend it for a multi-dimensional problem, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional problem. For a multi-dimensional problem in a space x, y, z, the construction of causal Green's function will be x, y, z, x naught, y naught, z naught is equal to delta x minus x naught, delta y minus y naught, delta z minus z naught. Since you are looking into the step response of Green's function into the overall solution and trying to interpret what will be its effect on the overall non-homogeneity distributed uniformly throughout the whole volume of the system, you will be forcing all the boundary non-homogeneities even in the boundary of the Green's function to vanish. In other words, you will be forcing the boundary conditions of Green's functions to be homogeneous, should be equal to 0, and the boundary conditions will be the form of the boundary conditions will be exactly same like we have the original problem. suppose in the original problem we are having a mixed boundary condition at x equal to 0, let us say del u del x plus u is equal to h. So, corresponding boundary condition in the Green's function will be del g del x plus g is equal to 0. Okay. Likewise, so first step will be you have to construct a causal Green's function, then you have to construct adjoint Green's function. Adjoint Green's function is defined as g star L g star x by x naught is equal to x by x 1 delta x minus x 1. Okay. This construction adjoint Green's function will be formulated by L star g star x by x 1 is equal to delta x minus x 1. That means we are giving a unit impulse at the location x is equal to x 1 in the case of adjoint Green's function, and the operator will be the adjoint operator. And probably in last few classes we have talked about how to obtain, given an operator, how to obtain an adjoint operator. Here also you will be forcing the boundary condition of Green's function, adjoint Green's function, to be equal to homogeneous. That means B star G star will be equal to 0. Okay. Now, the last step will be you will be connecting relate adjoint Green's function with your original problem LU is equal to F and get the solution of U. How to do that, that we will just see in a moment. Now, here a point has to be noted: if it is a self adjoint operator, if L is equal to L star, then your G becomes G star. Okay. So, you need not to go through step number 2, because in that case the operator and the adjoint operator will be identical, and Green's function and adjoint Green's function will be identical. Okay. So, you can directly relate adjoint operator the Green's function with the original problem U. Okay. Now, in step number 2, once given an operator and the boundary condition of the given problem, you can find out the Green's function. Once you find out the Green's function, you need not to go a rigorous solution of adjoint Green's function, because the Green's function and adjoint Green's functions are related through a simple relationship. Okay. So, we will just go through that and find out the relationship between G and G star. G and G star. Okay. Let us say L is an operator. We formulate the problem on LG in one dimension, that will be easier to understand, is delta x minus x naught subject to, let's say we have a deletion boundary condition at x equal to 0, your z is equal to, that means z 0 x naught is equal to 0, at x equal to 1 your g 1 by x naught is equal to 0. That means you are having homogeneous deletion boundary condition on G, and the corresponding set of equation and boundary condition for G star will be L star G star x 1 is equal to delta x minus x 1 subject to at x equal to 0 and at x equal to 1 your G star equal to 0. That means you are forcing the boundary condition of G and G star to be homogeneous. Okay. Now, the relationship between G and G star is, you suppose this is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2, you multiplied equation number 1 by G star and multiply and by G star dx, and multiply equation number 2 by G dx and integrate and subtract and see what you get. That means 0 to 1 G star L G dx minus 0 to 1 G L star G star dx 0 to 1 g star x by x1 delta x minus x naught dx minus 0 to 1 g x by x naught delta x minus x1 dx. Okay. What is this? Use the shifting property of Green's Dirac delta function. This will be nothing but fx of delta x minus x naught dx will be nothing but fx naught. Okay. So, this will be g star x naught by x1, correct. So, this will be nothing but g star x naught by x1 minus this will be g x1 by x naught. Okay. Now, if you since L and L star are the adjoint operators, we can write down this equation as 0 to 1 g L g star dx minus j g and g star minus this remains as it is 0 to 1 g L star g star dx, right. That this relationship we have derived in the last class. Okay. So, right, this is L star, that is correct, very good. So, so this will be adjoint operator L star and g star will be the adjoint Green's function, and this equation j u v or j g star in this case is nothing but the boundary condition between g and g star that will be existing on the boundary. Okay. And this will be constituting over the limit 0 to 1. Now, you have looked into the previous example that this is known as the bilinear concomitant. This bilinear concomitant term will vanish if all the boundary conditions are homogeneous. That value will be existing if the boundary conditions are non-homogeneous, right. Now, in the way you have formulated g and g star, all the boundaries on g and g star are homogeneous. That will lead to the value of this bilinear concomitant to be equal to 0. Okay. So, this whole term will become 0 because the boundary conditions on g and g star are homogeneous. And what about these two? These two will be identical integral. So, they will just cancel out g L star g star g L star g star. So, the relationship between g and g star is g star x0 by x1 is nothing but g x1 by x0. Okay. So, that means given a problem, suppose you have found out g. Okay. You have found out g as a function of x slash x naught. Change the index, the variable x to x1. Change x to x1. What you will be getting? This will result into g as a function of x1 by x naught. This will be identical to g star x naught by x1. This will be identical to g star x naught by x1. Now, again change the variable x naught to the running variable x. Change x naught to x, then you will be getting g star as a function of x and x1. Okay. That means, by solving a differential equation for g, you will be getting the solution of g. We will be looking into a moment how we will be getting the solution of a g given an operator. You will be getting a solution of g that will be function of x and x naught. Okay. So, by doing some simple transformation, you can get g star as a function of x and x1 by using this relationship. This is a very important relationship. Okay. Now, this is valid for 3-dimensional case as well. G star x naught, y naught, z naught, let us say t naught slash x, y, z, t x1 y1 z1 t1 is equal to g x1 y1 z1 t1 slash x0 y0 z0 t0. The same relationship will be holding good for a multidimensional problem as well. Okay. Fine. So, given a problem LU is equal to f, you can formulate the Green's causal Green's function Lg x by x0 is equal to delta x by x minus x0. You have a boundary condition on Bu is equal to h, let us say non-homogeneous, and you will be forcing the boundary condition on Green's function to be equal to 0. From this, you will be getting a solution of G as a function of x by x0. From that, by simply interchanging the indices, you will be find out the adjoint Green's function x by x1. Okay. So, this will be the crucial step is this one. Once you get this, then you can easily find it out. Then you relate G star with U to get the solution of U. Why? Because exactly like the matrix operation, the solution of U will be L inverse F. L inverse is nothing but the adjoint Green's function in case of a continuous function. Okay. Now, how you relate G star with U? There is no problem. You will be getting a differential equation of governing equation for G star something like this. Suppose this is equation number 1, this is equation number 2. You multiply this equation with G star, you multiply equation number 2 with U dx and integrate and subtract. Okay. By that you will be getting U as a function of x1. Once you get U as a function of x1, then change the running variable x1 to x, you will be getting the solution U as a function of x. By relating 1 and 2, you will be getting U as a function of x1. From that, you will be getting the solution of U function of x. Okay. You multiply this equation by G star dx, you multiply this equation with U dx and integrate and subtract. What you will be getting is nothing but you will be getting Lu G star dx minus L star G star U dx is equal to f of G star dx minus U delta x minus x1 dx. This integral is over the domain of x. It may be 0 to 1. It will be between the upper and lower limit of x. Now, these can be written as U L star G star minus j of U and G star, okay, minus L star G star U dx is equal to f of G star dx minus integral U delta x minus x1 dx, integral of that will be giving value of U as a function of x1 only. Okay. So, this integral can be written as U as a function of x1 with a negative sign. Okay. Now, these two are identical. If the boundary conditions on U and G star are homogeneous, then this whole bilinear concomitant will vanish. If the boundary conditions on U are non-homogeneous, let us say there are two boundaries, at least one of them is non-homogeneous, one term will be remaining, that will be based on the non-homogeneous term. Otherwise, if all the terms are homogeneous U and G star, then these will vanish. So, in essence you will be getting U x1 is equal to integral f of G star dx. Okay. F will be a known function, it may be xy, it may be x square, it may be x1 by 2, it may be cx plus d, whatever. So, that will be known to you. You have already found out G. How did you find out? That we will see in a moment. You have already found out G. You know how to convert G into G star. So, you will be having a variable x1 and x integrating over x. What will be remaining is as a function of x1, right. Now, change the variable x1 into x, you will be getting ux, the solution of ux as hx. Okay, that is the idea. Now, so we know how to find out G star given G. Now, we will see how to find out how to estimate or determine the Green's function, causal Green's function. Consider the problem L G x by x naught is equal to delta x minus x naught. This L may be, let us say this L is d square dx square. That means your original problem is d square u dx square is equal to some fx. So, the corresponding Green's function will be d square dx square, d square g dx square is equal to delta x minus x naught. Let us say this L is d square dx square, okay. And you must be having two boundary conditions. That means at x equal to 0, your g is equal to 0, at x equal to 1, let us say your g is equal to 0. We would like to find out what will be our Green's function g. That is the aim of this exercise. Now, the solution will be coming up by splitting this problem into two parts. One will be between, because you are having two boundaries specified, one is at x equal to 0, another will be at x equal to 1, but at x equal to x naught you are given a unit impulse. So, your solution will be constituted of two parts, one part will be between 0 and x naught, another part will be between x naught and 1. So, between 0 and x naught, that means for the region x lying between 0 and x naught, you will be having, let us say, d square g dx square is equal to 0, right, because that is the property of Dirac delta function. Apart from x equal to x naught, delta is 0 everywhere, okay. And these basically this is equal to, this is not equal to, okay. That is basically a point of mismatch, okay. Now, between and let us say let us denote it by G1, let us denote it by G1, okay. And you have only one boundary specified for this problem, that means at x equal to 0, your G1 is equal to 0. Achha. For the other region between x naught and 1, let us say solution is d square g2 dx square is equal to 0, and you are having one boundary condition specified here as well. At x equal to 1, you are having g2 is equal to 0. Now, to get a solution of this, you must be requiring two boundary conditions. Similarly, here you must be requiring two boundary conditions. So, that means there are four boundaries to be specified, and you have specified only two boundaries. So, you require two more boundary conditions to be specified. We will be solving a complete problem after this. So, the calculation procedure will be clear to you. But the nature of the solution will be exactly same, right? Here also here you will be getting ax plus b, here also you will be getting a solution ax plus b, but the constants will be different now. here you will be getting Ax plus b, here you will be getting Cx plus d, because the boundary conditions are different. Okay. So, G in a compact form you can write it as Cx plus d for x lying between x naught and 0. Let us say Ax plus b, and this is Cx plus d for the other domain x naught and 1. Okay. Now, the two more boundary conditions are obtained by assuming the continuity of Green's function across the point x naught. First one is obtained as continuity of Green's function across x naught. That means G at x naught plus x naught is equal to nothing but G at x naught minus by x naught. That is the continuity of Green's function. The second boundary condition is known as the jump discontinuity condition. Across x naught, because basically across x naught, its value changes, right. So, there will be a distinct jump or discontinuity at that particular location. That means, this will be relating the derivative of Green's function. Suppose your operator is a0, some complicated form, maybe a0 x d square g dx square is equal to delta x minus x naught. Suppose this is the Green's function. In the problem that we are looking into, where a0 x is equal to 1, right, a0 x equal, because in our problem it is d square g dx square equal to delta x minus x naught. This is a more general case. Suppose a0 is present, let us say 5x, so this will be 5x d square g dx square, maybe, okay, that will be a generalized case. So, you can write it as d square g dx square is delta x minus x naught by a0 x. Now, you multiply both sides by dx and integrate across x naught plus epsilon and x naught minus epsilon. Multiply both sides by dx and integrate across x naught minus epsilon and x naught plus epsilon. Okay. The solution is the integration is dg dx, right. So, dg dx x naught minus epsilon, x naught plus epsilon. Okay. And what will be this? This will be simply 1 over a naught x naught, right. Fine. Now, putting the limits, you will be getting dg dx evaluated at x0 plus minus dg dx evaluated at x0 minus is equal to 1 over a0 x naught. This condition is known as the jump discontinuity condition across x naught of Green's function. Okay. So, we have obtained two extra relationship. One is the continuity of Green's function, another is the jump discontinuity of derivative of Green's function. Fine. So, these two are extra conditions, and now you can evaluate all the 4 conditions of the governing equations separately, independently. Okay. Fine. Now, let us look into the example. The example we are talking about is d square g x by x naught dx square is equal to delta x minus x naught, and fine. Now, for the domain and x is lying in the domain between 0 to 1, where x naught is a point in between 0 and 1. Okay. Now, let us call the solution as G1 for the domain between x naught and 0, and the governing equation will be dg1 d square g1 dx square is equal to 0, and let us say your original problem was having g is equal to 0 at x equal to 0 and both at x equal to 1. Okay. So, you know one condition of g1, that means at x equal to 0, g1 equal to 0. The other part of Green's function for the other region for x lying between x naught and 1, let us say d square g2 dx square is equal to 0. Okay. And you know only one boundary specified for this problem, that is at x equal to 1 your g2 equal to 0. Okay. Now, let us look into the solution. Your g1 will be nothing but let us say x plus b, right, and at x equal to 0 your g1 will be equal to 0. So, put that. So, 0 is equal to b. So, b is equal to 0. So, g1 is nothing but ax, where the boundary, where the integration constant a is still unknown. For g2 it will be cx plus d, and you know the boundary condition at x equal to 1 your g2 is equal to 0, right. Put that. So, 0 is equal to c into 1 plus d, that means your d is equal to minus c. If d is equal to minus c, the solution is g2 x by x naught is nothing but c into x minus 1. Okay. Now, you evaluate the remaining two constants a and c from the continuity of Green's function and the jump discontinuity condition. Okay. What is that? G at x0 plus by x0 is equal to g at x0 minus at x0, right. That means the Green's function will be continuous across x0, but for x0 plus the solution was g2, and for the x0 minus the solution is g. So, g2 evaluated at x naught. What is g2? g2 is nothing but c into x minus 1. So, c into x0 minus 1 is equal to ax naught, right. This will be equation number let us say 1, and the jump discontinuity condition that is dg dx evaluated at x0 plus minus dg dx evaluated at x0 minus will be equal to 1 over a0 x0. In this particular case a0 equal to 1. So, this will be 1, right, or you can alternately you can find it out. D square g dx square is equal to delta x minus x naught. You multiply both sides by dx and integrate across x naught minus epsilon, x naught plus epsilon. So, you will be getting this relationship, correct. So, once we get that dg dx at x0 plus, that means we are talking about the upper half solution. What is the upper half solution? C into x minus 1, that means derivative of that with respect to x, it will be c only. So, c minus dg dx, that will be a, right. This will be equal to 1. This is equation number 2. So, c is equal to a plus 1. C is equal to a plus 1, just put it out here. A plus 1 into x0 minus 1 is equal to ax naught, right. Basically, you are solving these two equations. Right. So, what is this? Ax naught minus a plus x naught minus 1 is equal to ax naught. So, ax naught will be cancelled out. So, a will be simply x naught minus 1, right. if A is x naught minus 1, your C is equal to A plus 1. C is equal to x naught. So, your what is the solution of the Green's function now? G x by x naught is equal to A x. So, x 0 minus 1 into x for x lying in between 0 and x naught, and this will be C into x minus 1. C is x naught into x minus 1 for x lying in between x naught and 1. That is how you will be finding out the Green's function. Okay. Now, once you get Green's function, you have to look into then you have to find out the adjoint Green's function. Okay. The adjoint Green's function is very simple. For this particular case, where the operator is like this, d square dx square del square operator, del square del x square plus del square del y square plus del square del z square, Laplacian operator. In the last class we have discussed their self adjoint. So, for this problem we need not to find out the self adjoint Green's function. You can directly relate G with U. Okay. So, the crucial step is to find out the Green's function. Now, we will have one example with an actual problem. Okay. Using obtaining a solution of ordinary differential equation first, then we will be extend the same idea to the partial differential equation. Let us say example 2. Let us solve d square u dx square is equal to 2x let us say for x lying in between 0 and 1, subject to at x equal to 0 and x equal to 1, your u is equal to 0. Let us say homogeneous boundary condition of the original problem. Okay. Now, we would like to get the solution of u using Green's function method. Now, let us look into the solution first, then we will compare our solution with the Green's function method. What is the solution of this? This will be simply du dx is equal to x square plus c1, okay, and u will be x cube by 3 plus c1 x. Now, subject to plus c2, right. Subject to these two boundary conditions, you will be getting c1 is equal to minus 1 upon 3 and c2 will be equal to 0. So, solution will be basically x cube by 3 minus x by 3. So, this will be the final solution that we are getting. Now, we will be trying to solve this problem using Green's function method and check whether we are getting the same solution or not. Okay. That will demonstrate the uses of Green's function. Now, given the problem d square u dx square is equal to 2x subject to u is equal to 0 at x equal to 0 and at x equal to 1, let us formulate the causal Green's function first. Okay. The causal Green's function will be d square g x by x naught dx square is equal to delta x minus x naught, right, and subject to the conditions at x equal to 0, your g is equal to 0, at x equal to 1, your g equal to 0, right. If this boundary condition at x equal to 1, if it had been du dx is equal to 0, then this would have been dg dx equal to 0. Okay. Now, we have already solved the Green's function for this operator just in the previous example. Okay. What is that? Okay. And we know that d square dx square, this Laplacian operator, is a self-adjoint operator. Therefore, for this particular problem, we need not to construct the adjoint Green's function. We can directly relate this equation with this equation g and u. Okay. Because it is a self-adjoint operator, d square dx square is a self-adjoint operator, we need not to find out adjoint Green's function separately. Let us write down equation number 1, equation number 2. You multiply equation number 1 with g dx, you multiply equation number 2 with u dx and subtract and see what you get. Integration g d square u dx square dx minus integration u d square g dx square dx is equal to integration 2x g dx minus integration delta x minus x naught u dx, right. And all these integral are from 0 to 1 domain on x. This is a one dimensional problem where the domain of x is from 0 to 1. Integrated by parts, first function, integration of second function, evaluate from 0 to 1 minus differential of first function, that means dg dx, integration of second function, that is du dx 0 to 1. This one, u is the first function, d square g dx square is the second function, u dg dx from 0 to 1 minus differential of the first one du dx, integration of the second one, that is dg dx from 0 to 1 is nothing but 2 integration x g dx from 0 to 1 minus this one will be what? U evaluated at x naught. Okay. Now, if you these two, this will be minus minus plus, right. There will be minus sign here because a minus here. So, there will be minus minus, it will be minus minus plus. So, these two terms will be cancelled out because they are identical. Okay. Now, all the boundary conditions on g and u are homogeneous. So, this is basically evaluated, g evaluated at 1, du dx evaluated at 1. So, g at 1, u prime at 1 minus g at 0, u prime at 0 minus u at 1, g prime at 0, g prime at 1 minus minus plus u at 0, g prime at 0 is equal to twice x g dx minus u x naught from 0 to 1. Okay. Now, all the conditions, boundary conditions of Green's function are homogeneous, g at 1 equal to 0. So, whatever the value of u prime at 1, it really does not matter, because g at 1 is 0, this term will be off, will be equal to 0. Similarly, whatever the value of u prime at x equal to 0, it really does not matter, because g at x equal to 0 is equal to 0. So, this will be gone. U at 1 is equal to 0, u at 0 equal to 0, irrespective of g prime at x equal to 0 and 1. So, whole lot of left hand side will be equal to 0. And so, basically what is u x naught? U x naught is nothing but twice 0 to 1 x g dx, right. Now, we have to evaluate only this integral. What is this integral? This integral will be divided into two parts, because g is divided into two parts based on lower half integration and upper half integration across the point x1, x naught. Okay. So, u at x, u value as a function of x naught is nothing but twice 0 to x naught x g1 dx plus twice x0 to 1 x g2 dx, right, and 0 to x naught x. What is g1? G1 is for the lower half. The solution is x into x naught minus 1 dx plus 2 x naught to 1 x. What is g2? G2 is x naught into x minus 1 times dx. We have already found out the Green's function. I am just substituting the expression of Green's function in the lower half plane and the upper half plane. Okay. So, what will be getting 2, it will be the integration over x. So, x naught minus 1 or x naught will be treated as constant. So, twice x naught minus 1 will be coming out, it will be 0 to x naught x square dx plus 2 x naught to 1 and will be x square minus x dx. Okay. So, you will be getting 2 x naught minus 1, this will be x cube by 3. So, it will be x naught cube by 3, putting the limits, lower limit will be equal to 0 plus 2 x naught, it will be x cube by 3 x naught to 1, it will be x square by 2 from x naught to 1. Okay. So, we will be getting 2 by 3 x naught to the power 4 minus x naught cube plus twice x naught, we will be getting 1 upon 3 minus x naught cube by 3 minus 1 upon 2 minus 1 plus x naught square by 2. Do the algebra. We will be getting 2 by 3 x naught to the power 4 minus 2 by 3 x naught cube plus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 2 is minus 1 by 6, right, 1 by 6 into 2. So, it will be minus x naught by 3, correct. So, these two constant terms will be minus x naught by 3, right. Acha, minus 2 x naught 4 by 3 plus x naught cube. Okay. Right. These two will be cancelled out. 1 minus 2 by 3 is 1 upon 3, right. So, x naught cube by 3 minus x naught by 3, right. Now, you change the you got u x naught as a function of x naught, you change x naught into x and you will be getting u x as x cube by 3 minus x by 3. What was the solution? That was the same solution, x cube by 3 minus x by 3. Okay. So, that will demonstrate the usage of Green's function when you will be having a non-homogeneous ordinary differential equation with the homogeneous boundary condition. Let us say you just extend this to make this problem a bit more complicated. You just say my conditions are, the boundary conditions are not homogeneous of the original problem. Then what will happen? Yes, some of the terms on the left hand side will be remaining. Let us look into one such problem. Let us say our original problem is d square u, the solution we are seeking for is d square u dx square is equal to, what is the original problem, is equal to x, 2x. Okay. Let us say subject to u is equal to, let us say something, let us say 5 at x equal to 0 and du dx is equal to 2 at x equal to 1. So, instead of Dirichlet boundary condition, I intentionally have taken a Neumann condition here. Okay. That will make it more general. So, these two are the non-homogeneous boundary condition and non-homogeneous governing equation. Okay. So, the d square g dx square is equal to delta x minus x naught will be the governing equation for g, subject to g is equal to 0 at x equal to 0, dg dx is equal to 0 at x equal to 1. Whenever we are writing the governing equation and boundary condition of g, the boundary conditions of g and g star will be forced to be homogeneous. We will be forcing these non-homogeneities to be vanished, because we are superimposing the effect of unit impulse or unit non-homogeneity into the overall solution. So, we are doing away with all the non-homogeneities present in the governing equation as well as the boundary conditions separately, okay, and replacing the non-homogeneity in the governing equation, that means the volume of the control system, by a unit impulse. Okay. So, in that case, the solution of G will be exactly same, because your L is d square dx square. It won't be exactly same, because the constant C and D will be changed because of this term dg dx equal to 0. Okay. Let us say that you can find out. I will take 3. Okay, just wait. Okay. So, let us say G is equal to Ax plus B and Cx plus D for the region x lying between 0 and x naught, and it is lying between x naught and 1. Now, you have the boundary condition specified at x equal to 0 and x equal to 1. X equal to 0, it is G equal to 0, and x equal to 1, it is dg dx equal to 0. And you have 2 more boundary conditions, one will be on jump discontinuity and another is continuity. So, we can find out A, B and C, D. It will be in the sum form, but determinable form. Now, let us look into the connection between G and U. Let us look into the final form. Okay. I am going back to this slide. Okay. G at 1, U prime at 1 minus G at 0, U prime at 0 minus U at 1, G prime at 1 minus plus U at 0, G prime at 0 is equal to twice integration x G dx minus U x naught. Okay. Now, G at 0 is equal to 0. That means this term will be off. Dg dx, that means G prime is equal to 0 at x equal to 1, that is the formulation of Green's function. So, G prime at 1 is equal to 0. So, this term will be off. G at 1, no, that is known, because we know the upper half solution of G. Just put G at 1, x equal to 1. So, it will be some function of x naught. Okay. G at 1 is known to us, U prime at 1, that is 2, plus U at 0, that is 5, and G prime at 0, that is known to us. So, we know the value. We will know the lower half solution, put x equal to 0, you will be getting some expression, twice x G dx 0 to 1 minus U x naught. So, U x naught will be twice 0 to 1 x G dx minus 2 G at 1 minus 5 G prime at 0. This we know, this will be nothing but x naught cube by 3 minus x naught by 3, right. Minus 2 G at 1 means you go to the upper half solution of G and evaluate it at x equal to 1. So, you will be getting some function h as a function of x naught. What? Yes, that's perfectly right. You will be getting some solution, right, p x naught, correct, minus h x naught. Similarly, here you will be getting k x naught, right. So, you will be finally getting u x naught as a function of x naught. Now, change the variable x naught into the running variable x, you will be getting the solution of u x. So, that is why you can do anything. You can solve a non-linear, non-homogeneous governing equation as well as the non-homogeneous boundary condition. Whatever the type of boundary condition that will appear, using Green's function, you will be getting the complete solution. Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So, we are looking into the solution of non-homogeneous partial differential equations, which will be typically occurring in a system where you are working with a multidimensional problem or transient problem in several dimensions in space, and where you are having a volumetric source or sink term. like continuous heat generation within a volume of a reactor or something like that. Now, the typical analytical solution that you can obtain by using Green's function that we have looked into, by imposing one unit impulse into a system, you will like to simulate the effect of overall non-homogeneity in your governing solution. Now, we have seen how to formulate the Green's function. We have already seen what are the typical steps those are involved in getting the solution. It is a lengthy one. The first step is given a particular problem, you have to construct and formulate and solve for causal Green's function. Then you have to obtain the adjoint Green's function. Then you have to connect adjoint Green's function with the original problem. Now, if it is a self adjoint operator, we know how to find out whether the operator is self adjoint or not. If it is a self adjoint operator, then you need not go to the third step, that is evaluation of adjoint operator, adjoint Green's function, because in that case both Green's function and the adjoint Green's function are identical. Okay. And we have looked into an example for ordinary differential equation where we have applied the Green's function method in order to obtain the solution. Today we will extend the same analysis for the solution of partial differential equation in a multidimensional problem. You consider the equation that you are going to solve is, let us say, delta square u is equal to f. F may be typically a non-homogeneous function of x, y, z, and the operator delta square, let us say it is a Laplacian operator, del square del x square plus del square del y square plus del square del z square. Okay. Now, we have to first construct the causal Green's function. The causal Green's function will be nothing, it will be grad square g x y z slash x naught y naught z naught is equal to delta x minus x naught, delta y minus y naught, delta z minus z naught. Okay. Suppose this original problem u is having a boundary condition. Let's say it has two boundaries. One is SR and another is SD, and the boundary condition is n hat grad of g plus Cg is equal to 0 on, let us say, SR and G, Cu. Okay. Let us say it is something. Let us say it may be non-homogeneous H, and on SD, let us say u is equal to something. This boundary condition is a mixed boundary condition. This is unit normal. Okay. So, this is basically grad of u means plus Cu is equal to H on some surface. Let us dividing the boundary surface into two parts. One is SR, another is SD, and on SD, let us say u is having a Dirichlet boundary condition, and on SR it is having a mixed boundary condition.